Matthew McConaughey came on the show a couple of weeks ago. He was talking about two films. He was talking about Gold and Sing. Sing is out already and is currently number one in the box office, keeping T2 off. Gold is out this week.
And absolutely, I mean, like double Train Spotting. It's their box office take for Sing is huge.
It's absolutely enormous. But it also had previews and that kind of thing. But it was still doing very well. So Matthew McConaughey is Kenny Wells in a story which is inspired by a real story, although there is enough distance for a legal reason for it to be a work of fiction. So he is running the family mining company. He wants to make his dad proud. However, the business is flopping. They are not striking gold.
Always believe in yourself.
Exactly. So he dreams big. He absolutely has that whole thing about, out there, the prospector is somebody who goes out and always believes that out there in the day there is something to be found. And yet the day-to-day reality of his business is much more down to earth and grimy. Here's a clip.
All right, here is what we have. We are developing some very exciting properties that are spot on for your investor profile. Low buy-in with a sizable upside. And the beautiful part is they are all only 12 to 18 months and cash positive.
Manitoba?
Yeah, we picked up an option on a skip claim at an auction.
Right, but it's a 90-day option.
Yes, the window is narrow. But if you have a look at the geo, you'll see a very promising shell formation that hasn't been tapped yet.
Mr. Wells, Washoe has a practical value hovering just above zero. Your debt load is untenable, and you bring us raw land with no infrastructure, no fungible assets. I mean, can't possibly expect us to underwrite this.
Yeah, I'm talking about a small offering here. As I said in the beginning, a low buy-in. Now, if you'll take a second look at the geo, you will see what I see. And that's money.
Not our money.
So everything looks like it's all finished, all washed up. However, he has a dream, literally has a dream, that out there in Indonesia there is gold that is waiting to be found, and he decides to contact a legendary figure, Michael Acosta, played by Edgar Ramirez, who has spoken in the past of the Ring of Fire, a sort of a way of finding a layer of gold which he absolutely is convinced that exists, but hadn't found it before. And in order for them to go out and do that, there would need to be money. So Matthew McConaughey, it was interesting, because in the interview with McConaughey, you said that there was a comparison between the character that he plays in Sing, that he voices in Sing, and the character he plays in this, and that they're both dreamers. They're both people who believe in something that is...
Chancers.
Chancers. Okay, fine. I was being polite, but yeah, chancers. So he takes all his money, puts everything he has, goes to Michael Acosta, says, look, I believe in your dream, let's go looking for it. He goes out there, there is gold in the river, and so there is an assumption that there is gold somewhere else. However, they don't find anything. He goes down with malaria, the money runs out, everything looks terrible. He drifts off into a malaria fever, and then when he wakes up, wow, they have found something. And the next thing you know, it's stocks are going up, interests are going up, champagne corks are popping, and suddenly we're sort of in that film that we've seen versions of many times before. Now, here's the thing with the film. On the one hand, apparently when the original script was pitched, they talked about it as being kind of Treasure of the Sierra Madre, which that's a very, very big comparison to make, and the film doesn't come anywhere close to doing that. My daughter saw it, and I mentioned that because she said something. I said, I'm going to use that. And she said, well, you better quote me for saying it. She said, it's sheep in Wolf of Wall Street's clothing. And I thought first,
all that education.
I have raised you well, child. And secondly, yeah, because the problem with the film is twofold. On the one hand, you get Matthew McConaughey doing that physical performance thing, which is, look, I can put on a whole bunch of weight. Look, I can shave my hair. Look, I can look genuinely baggy and craggy, and I've got, my teeth and I get a physical transformation performance. That's fine. It looks like he's thrown himself into the role. He does genuinely look properly stinky in key parts of the film. But in order for the film to work, what the film has to do is to convince you or draw you into the dream that he has, which he actually talks about in, the taste of gold, the feel of gold, the thing about actually what a prospector is, what it means to be, the great vision. And I never did. What I ended up thinking was, this is a showcase for you to do that performance. And every now and then you're reminding me of a Martin Scorsese movie, which I didn't particularly like anyway, but seems infinitely more engaging than this does. And secondly, it's that kind of floating relationship with real historical events that is neither. I mean, at least in the case of Wolf of Wall Street, you know, it was. I mean, in this, it's fictionalized. It is a fiction with something in the background of it, and you end up thinking, I don't really believe in or care about any of these characters, because I know the way the story goes, which is that suddenly champagne corks are clicking, suddenly everybody's got money, suddenly everybody's in discotheques wearing glaring clothes. I mean, I know how that works out, so you have to bring something new to the table. And I ended up feeling rather bored by it. I mean, I kept thinking it's going to kick into gear any minute now. It's going to find its level any minute now. It's going to engage me, and it just never did. And I think Stephen Gagan's an interesting filmmaker, and I think there's no question that McConaughey throws himself into roles. And certainly, if you look back, however many years it is that you're going back to the awful leaning on, you know, lamppost rom-coms that he made, the McConaissance has definitely happened. But Gold, there is a reason why Gold hasn't been taken to heart in the way that some other films. It's simply that, yeah, you know, it glisters, but it ain't that. There's nothing
Fool's
there.
gold.
Fool's gold. Actually, yes. And again, how you got there before I did, because weirdly enough, watching the film kind of slightly slowed my brain down a little bit. I mean, I do think it's baggy. I do think that Dallas House Prices hasn't got anything like as much to do in it as she ought to have. I do think like that you end up watching it as a series of performances of moments that feel very stagey. The episodic quality of it never feels like it kicks into gear, but crucially, it never grabs you with the thing that fundamentally, at least in Wolf of Wall Street, much as I loathed and despised the character of Jordan Belfort, I did actually understand to some extent the venality of his drive. In the case of this, I never really did. It just seemed like you're going to do what? You're going to spend all your money and go up the thing and then start digging because you think that they're... So it didn't engage me. It didn't grab me. I ended up being, and it's the worst I can say about it. It's not terrible, but I ended up being rather bored.